wanna be famous, a star on the screen, but you can do something in between.
Big government may be at it again, this time potentially tracking what kind of driver you are. There is a bill that has already passed the U.S. Senate. It is expected to be passed in the House, and it would make it mandatory for all new cars in the United States to be fitted with black box data recorders, just like planes, starting in the year 2015.
Joining us now with more on this is former Assistant Director of the FBI in New York and President of the Gavin Group, Bill Gavin. Bill, nice to see you this morning.
Good morning, Clive. It's my pleasure.
So what is wrong with this? I mean, under this law, basically this data would stay in the hands of Allie or I as the driver of the vehicle until at which time the government had access to this data, needs to pull it to recreate an accident, to find out the time of day, to validate claims being made by the driver, I guess, in accidents or insurance issues. What's the problem here?
If that's true, if that's the extent of it, it's one thing. But you and I both know that these things have a way of getting out of control. It's a slippery slope. I can see black boxes, of course, in public transportation, in airplanes, in buses, and in trains and whatnot. But black boxes in your car, I'm sure it resulted as an initiative of the insurance industry lobby to get those put in so that you can either increase the insurance rates for the driver who is a bad driver, or you can fail to pay that claim based on information provided by the black box. It's a very, very difficult proposition, and I think it's a very slippery slope toward the government being able to look at things in a different way that maybe this bill wasn't intended to do.
In fact, some of the material that we have says the government would have the power to access these black boxes in a number of circumstances, including by court order. So it's unclear exactly what the situation would be for them to get it. But what are the types of things that it could track? Meaning the speed you're going? What else?
It could do that. The one thing that concerns me, too, is, you know, when you file an accident report, there's, right now with this bill, there's civil penalties for not having the black box. But are there criminal penalties for filing a false report when you have an accident and this information within your car? While it's supposed to be private, it can also be accessed. What else can happen? Can a chip be put in here so that you have a GPS tracking of every citizen's car, if in fact that's the next step in this whole process?
And one big issue you bring up too, Bill, is also the law enforcement officials, right? I mean, look, we've heard of corruption cases before, but you say, do law enforcement vehicles, are they exempted from this so that they could say, well, look, you know, it's invalidated, this information, it's not in this car, but it is in this car.
That's a very valid point. You know, should it be in a government car? And the big concern I have also, you trade your car in, does the information on the box go with the car so that the next individual looks like they have a record for speeding and they actually don't? It needs to be thought out, I think, a little bit more than it has been.
Got it. Bill Gavin, thanks so much for joining us with your expertise. Something to think about.
Yeah, let our viewers weigh in on this. You can find us on Twitter.